Hello, Captains, and welcome back to Microsoft Flight Simulator. We are continuing our adventures in the California Dreams bush trip, flying the Cessna 208 Grand Caravan from Catalina to the Sea Ranch. We are currently on leg number 10, going from Bryant to Columbia. Let's check out the overall route, so that those of you who are just joining in can see where exactly we've been flying. We are up in the, towards getting ready to come down out of the mountains. But first we need to hop into the cockpit, get our GPS and autopilot set up, and then we can get started with the flight. Alright, we are all set and ready to go, so let's go ahead and get up into the air. I have my GPS set to the appropriate waypoint. Our altitude will be 7,500 feet once we get off the ground, and GPS is set to our nav mode, so all we have to do is complete our takeoff roll here. Focus really hard on trying to keep myself on the center line as best I can. Up we go. Come on, pull up, pull up, pull up. All right, and we'll get the autopilot turned on. Head off towards our first destination. So it looks like this first one is going to be about 15 miles away. So we'll get turned off in that direction. I read off the nav log as we turn off towards our destination, and then I usually try to put a cut in if it's going to be more than a few miles, so that way you guys aren't having to sit and watch the slow rolling here. So we're gonna looks like we're gonna head over these mountains here. Let me go ahead and pop my altitude up to 9,500 feet, since it seems like we're gonna have to crest some stuff over here. Our first destination is the Marine Corps Mountain Warfare Training Center. After lifting off from Bryant Field, head northwest and roughly follow Route 395 to its junction with Highway 108, and head west to the Marine Corps Mountain Warfare Training Center, established in 1951 during the Korean War to train troops for cold weather and high mountain warfare due to the extreme conditions that occur there. Alright, so got a little bit of a flight to go over these mountains, and I'll bring you guys back when we're ready to see all of that. Before we go, I'll give you guys a nice little panoramic view from left to right. This is where we're flying. All right, so I'll see you guys back in just a couple minutes. Well, for you, it'll be instantly. And here we are at the Mountain Warfare Training Center. I did serve as a Marine from 2002 to 2013, and I was stationed in 29 Palms, California for several years, but never actually did the mountain warfare training thing. Wasn't really part of my job specialty. Let's go ahead and get ready to turn off to the left and read off our next destination. I can't tell if we're going to need to climb. We might need to climb some more. I'm going to go ahead and add some altitude here. Do 11.5 just in case. Gonna do like 1,000 feet a minute just to make sure we're not losing too much speed. All right, next item up is the Sonora Pass. Turn to the west and climb in altitude to Sonora Pass at the crest of this portion of the Sierra Nevada. There you go. We have this pass that we're gonna fly through, and then one more waypoint, and then we'll be landing. So this is a pretty short flight, which means that this video should be also very short. Fly over the mountain here. Got about 5 miles until we reach the pass, and then we'll have our next waypoint there. Go ahead and leave the recording going for now, because it's, 5 miles is about where I try to leave my cuts in the videos here, so we'll leave it, get a nice view of the valley before we head down into the next part of all of this. Get some nice views of the mountains over here. And to the right. The next thing that we're going to be looking at is going to be Pinecrest Lake. Slowly descend in altitude over the gentle western slope of the Sierra Nevada, roughly following Highway 108 to Pinecrest Lake. And then after that, we're going to have an airport to land at. So we're going to cross these mountains here, and then we're going to slowly come down the mountains, hit a lake over here, and then continue on towards the airport. So we're going to go all the way through this area here, it looks like. There will be a slight turn to the left, though, so I won't descend until I feel relatively certain that we're done with the high altitude stuff. Because right here, the color changes here are making it clear that the overall altitude of the terrain is, the overall height of the terrain is lowering down as we continue back towards the coast over here, but the mountains over here are kind of deceptive when it comes to how low I can go. So I'm going to stay up here at 11.5 for a little bit until we get past this big ridge right here, and then hopefully after that we can kind of start taking a pretty decent descent back down towards the ground, because we do want to make sure that we're low enough to land once we get over there. So it looks like we're going to be turning off towards our next heading right now. I'll wait till we get nice and leveled off. Take a quick look at the mountains as we're turning. Wait till we get leveled off. I'll give you guys a good lay of the land. Yeah, 17 miles. We'll definitely be putting a little bit of a cut into that. So let's get leveled off. We'll take a quick look at the terrain so you guys can see where we're going and what the area looks like. And then I will see you guys once we're ready to start descending down towards the airport. Alright, we're about 5 miles away from the lake that they were talking about, and I wanted to make sure you guys got a nice, good view of the entire terrain and scenery and everything as we're descending down out of the mountains toward the airport. That will be the next stop in our trip here. I like how green it is. I mean, it's a very massive shift from being up in the high mountain deserts and then crossing over the mountains, and all of a sudden everything is green again. It's one of the things about California that's just very interesting. How the diversity of the terrain and all of that kind of stuff just makes it an interesting place to visit. I've lived in Southern California for a very long time. I'm used to the desert. And then when I get to places where there's a lot of greenery, because I grew up on the East Coast. I grew up in South Carolina, where there's trees everywhere. And then the Marine Corps took me to Southern California, where it's desert. So I've lived in kind of both extremes, and so it always kind of blows my mind a little bit that California kind of has both of those. Except California doesn't necessarily have the same level of humidity. I have to say that. All right, so it looks like we are reaching. I actually need to start descending a little bit faster. I always underestimate how quickly I need to descend to get down to these airports. Start pulling back on the throttle a little bit as well, so not over speeding. So it looks like 22 miles until we reach the next airport. I'll give you guys one good view of the area before I hop back out and bring you guys back for the landing. But this is what we're flying over, and we'll be well. Let's take a look at the. Looks like there's going to be some water, a little bit more mountains going away, and then we'll land at the airport up here. I'm guessing it's going to be on the other side of this stuff, but I'm not quite sure. It's a little hard to tell for me, at least. How this terrain relates to this terrain. I don't know. That's probably just me not being able to kind of visualize it. But it is what it is. We got about 20 miles until we reach the airport, so I will bring you guys back when we're ready to come in for our landing. Right, here we are coming down into the valley towards the Columbia Airport, which is where we are supposed to be landing. According to our map here, it looks like it's just on this side of whatever river we have coming up over here. I think maybe this over here. I don't know, it's hard to tell distances on this, but we'll have to wait and see. Pull back on the throttle though, because we are definitely going too fast. I keep forgetting to look for the zoom key. I'm sure there's a zoom key that would let me zoom in on the terrain and kind of see. I mean, I guess my mouse wheel does. Let's see here. I don't see anything that looks like an airport, though. Right here. All right, well, let's get our autopilot turned off. We'll come around to the right here. out for... I'm guessing... Yeah, I can see lights blinking over there, so I think that's the runway. It's hard to tell because it's obscured a bit by trees, but that's alright. We'll figure it out. Slowly turn ourselves around, go ahead and get full flaps out to keep our speed down. Nope, that's the airport right there. Trying to keep it in view because I don't have like head tracking or anything, and it's kind of hard to look left and right and all that. Normally I would do a slide, but I have all my flight sim gear put away and I'm just using the joystick, and it's kind of difficult to do the slide with the twisting motion of the rudder. I'm sure I could figure it out, just didn't. Alright. Make sure we don't hit these trees here. Getting ready to move, so I have all my flight sim stuff packed away so that it's easy to move later. Alright, here we go. Alright, so hopefully you guys had lots of fun. Be sure to click that like button so the YouTube algorithm knows you did and sends the video out to as many viewers as possible. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already so that when the next video comes out, it will show up in your feed and you'll be able to watch it as soon as it becomes available. Channel members do get early access to all of my content, so be sure to click that join button, check out the list of perks that will become available to you should you choose to join, and decide if any of those are right for you. Again, thank you very much for your time. Hope you guys had fun, and I'll see you for the next one.